Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla and I am the owner of I Can Make That But, which is my small business where I sell crocheted plushies and other small crocheted items, and I'm so glad you're here. In today's video, we are finally catching up with the market recaps I have left with the one that I did about a month ago, because now I don't have another market until the end of July. So we're officially catching up with market recaps. We're going to go over the day, the stories, the numbers, what sold, some best sellers, all of that good stuff. So if that seems like a good time to you, definitely grab your own crocheted project or other hobby project and let's jump in. Okay, I adjusted my angle slightly. I'm trying a new setup for this, so we're gonna see how this goes. But before we jump into recapping the actual day, I do have some clips of me getting ready for the market on both the Friday before and then the Saturday during. Not as much as I would have liked, but some I did remember to vlog, so go me. I will put those in now. Just a disclaimer, because I was looking back at the clips to make sure I had them. I am wearing the same shirt as I am in this next clip, which is a Friday night before the show. I have more than one shirt, I promise, but I literally looked down and went, that's the same shirt I have on right now. But yeah, other than that, the clips are good. Let's roll them. Hello, welcome to Friday afternoon. If you can tell, my hood is up because we're going to start packing for the market that is tomorrow today, because in a shock, it's supposed to potentially rain tomorrow morning on a Saturday morning. What? Yes, so, if anyone's keeping score, that's most of my markets have experienced some sort of rain. And as you can see right now, it's gorgeous. Just a light breeze. It's beautiful out. So we're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to pack the car now at like 3 o'clock for most things. We're going to do the tent. I'm going to bring an outdoor rug because in case it's wet, I know I'm on grass tomorrow. I can put that down in case things fall. And my tables and the tent weights. And I think that's everything that's in there. And a chair. That's everything that's in the garage. So we're going to bring all that out. I still have stuff upstairs, like my shelf that I use and like the boxes and stuff that I still might load in the morning. I'm definitely loading inventory in the morning because if you've been here for a while, you know we're also still prepping. So that will be a morning thing, but I'm thinking if I get like the heavier stuff in now while it's not raining, then that will be the better choice. So let's do that right now. So as usual, I don't know if that time lapse saved, so I'll find that out in editing. But luckily it wasn't like too much. It was my 2 tables, tent, chair, and the rug. And I put all those to the right, so I have plenty of room for everything else. So, let's talk about this market tomorrow, shall we? Okay, sorry, I wanted to change my angle, and also I had to turn off the air, because where I record is literally right where our window air conditioner is, so that would have been all you heard. But tomorrow's market. This is a repeat from what I did last year. This is a strawberry festival at a local church in the next town over from me. It is from 10 to 4, I believe. 10 to 4, that sounds right. And we can start setting up at as early as 7. But like I said, it is supposed to rain. For this one, the setup operation, kind of drop off your stuff, is a little bit different because there's not a ton of space for where this church is. This church is kind of like in the center of its town, or not even the center, but it's like, I don't even know how to describe it, but like the parking for the actual church is behind the church, and that's not where we park. If that makes any kind of sense. So basically there's like a big roundabout in the front of the church, and you're tasked based on where your booth is, to kind of go close to where that is, take out all of your stuff, drop it in the spot, and then you have to drive your car across the street to public parking that's in a lot, and then come back across the street and set up. And they like it to go quicker because there's a lot of people trying to do this all at the same time. Now, because the weather might be crappy tomorrow, I know that setup's probably going to be wet, which is fine, but it's a little bit harder when you just have to like leave your stuff and then go. So what I'm hoping they let us do is at the very least just quickly set up our tent, and then I can just put everything under the tent. I don't have to like set up like tables or anything like that. As long as like my tent's up to like block the rain from my stuff, that's fine with me. So I'm hopeful that they'll do that. Last year they weren't as strict about people moving cars. They probably should have been. So from what I remember. So I think they'll allow that, and I can set up my tent pretty quickly by myself, not to brag, but I'm under 5 minutes with it, and that's what I will tell them too. I promise I'll be so speedy, and then I will move my car, but that would probably be the ideal situation. Based on the map, I believe I'm in about the same place as I was last year. Last year, how things fell, like, I think, like, 2 people that were supposed to be next to me didn't show, or I don't remember exactly what happened, and I don't think I have a video recapping this market, but, yeah, so I ended up almost, like, on a corner, so I still have 2 people on, like, the other side of me, so I'm not as corner-ish as I was, but that spot worked out pretty well for me last year. This was my first like ever market where I was like, oh wow, I could like make some of the numbers. Like you see like some of the crochet vlogs on here that like do like over like $1,000. This was the first market where I was like, I could be one of those people because I just did really, really well last year. Last year I ended up going home with only 6 plushies. Like, and granted, last year, and I will try and find a picture and I'll insert it either here or when I do the recap or maybe in both places of my setup last year, I don't feel like I had as much as what I usually bring now. But with that being said, my inventory is not where I need it to be. So why I'm spending 5 minutes recording this video, who's to know? Because I should be crocheting. But I figured I'd show you some things that I recently crocheted this past week. Just to get a feel of what that I have actually been crocheting. One of the things that I have to make a bunch more tonight, I have them in random pieces, is I made these like little strawberry keychains that I thought were gonna be cute. This is a strawberry festival. I'm also going to, like I did last year, I have them also in pieces. I have to put them together. Strawberry, like the hangers from the cars. I also have some more hanging flowers I have to put back together. We have a lot to do. Oh, okay. It's fine. It's fine. If you ever watched a Friday before a market video, you will notice this manic energy. And the fact that my to-do list is way too long for anyone to do the night before a market. It's fine because we've already been crocheting today because I had a half day from work. So I've been home since like 1 and I've already made 1, 2, 3, 4 octo keychains, a whale keychain, and I'm almost done with another whale keychain. I also have from this week, I made 2 other octo keychains. I had to replenish some colors, clearly. Then I did remake a strawberry cow because if you've watched my last video, I did sell my strawberry cow. So I had wanted this for the strawberry festival. In my grand dreams, I wanted more than 1 fruit cow and more than 1 strawberry cow. But I'm trying to be a little bit more realistic, and I'm thinking that's not going to happen in this time that we have to prep. But who knows? Maybe I'll do the rest of my list and have time for a cow. I'm not going to have time for a cow. Let me move this. This is a shirt that I'm working on. Not now. Then I also have, these are all from like the last couple of days that I haven't like put into inventory yet. I have 2 of the bigger popping mushrooms, and then I have 3 axolotls, because also what ended up happening, I was better prepped. I need to preface this because I was better prepped for this market. I have more stuff obviously like in my bags, but like this is what I've made the last couple of days. And I had enough axolotls, I had enough cats to go forth, bees was fine. And then I have crochet items in an art studio in my town that if you've seen other videos, you may have heard me talk about. And they needed more stuff and quickly. And so I pulled out my inventory. So I gave them, I think like 6 or 7 axolotls and like 4 or 5 cats. So I'm now down those numbers in axolotls and cats, which isn't great. So I have like I said, like I normally do, I have a very long list of things that I need to do and crochet. And so we're going to do that. And then we'll see what we get done. Okay, so it is now 7:45. Things have changed. My angle has changed. This right here is the box of my fluff. So, sorry, because I tried to make the camera work where this wasn't showing, but that wasn't working. So behind me is my inventory. So I laid all that out. I still have some stuff to finish. I have scrunchies that need the ends woven in. I need to finish strawberry things. So we'll do that. I will pan over all of my inventory. I don't know if you've noticed, but right there are only 4 cats. That's stressing me out. Also stressing me out, there's only 6 axolotls. That's stressful. So is I need a yellow popping mushroom because those you can't see, but they're back there, I promise. And yellow is very clearly missing. And then I also need a flamingo because the birds that are right there, there's only 4 of them and they look kind of boring. And also birds have been doing really well for me, so that's a bummer too. So still a lot to do, but I brought down my display stuff. That's what I'm looking at now. I still have a ton of yarn next to me. I do need, oh, my head's now out of frame. I'm crushing this right now. Killing it. I do need to use this, my spreadsheet that oh geez Louise, okay, that I have. I need to update this because currently it has last market's information on it. I made a new tab, but I need to fill all of that out so I can see where I am inventory wise, money wise. I've decided to just not worry about blueies because I was actually going to make multiple, and that's just not happening. So that's okay. I think this is what they call a crash out. The night before a market. Oh, and so fun. I checked the weather and it is now showing rain. So I will put that screenshot somewhere up there. Yeah. So fun. Obviously, they cannot control the weather. I feel like I say this now every market vlog because weather has been a thing every market vlog. And I understand that in this particular case, they can't change the day because they can't make it a Sunday because it's a church. So they have to keep it the Saturday, but it sucks. It sucks that it's gonna rain because I had an original goal for this market, and now I don't know what I'm going to lessen that goal by. Maybe I'll still keep that goal, I don't know. But this booth fee, it's an event that's 10 to 4, and it's usually very, very well attended. Again, I don't know what the weather's going to do, but usually this is a super well attended event. The booth fee was $100, and I was hopeful for a $1,000 profit goal. I don't know. Between the inventory behind me not being where I want it to be and the weather being what it's going to be, I don't know. But that's all we're going to allow ourselves to be sad about this, because we are going to go in with only positive energy. That's how I try to do every market, is with positive energy and putting out only positivity, saying hello to anyone who passes by. And who knows, maybe it'll just be a light sprinkle. And then maybe it just like won't rain. Maybe the pod of rain will move up towards, I don't know, Massachusetts. Sorry, Massachusetts, but maybe it'll go above us. But yeah. It's just, this has just been since, I think I read somewhere it was like February something was our last weekend of absolutely no rain. And like, it's June 14th tomorrow. Like, yes, rain is always a factor, but I usually am fine for outdoor summer markets. So I just don't know. But let's pan over inventory and do that, because we need to keep moving forward, because at the beginning of this clip I listed off no less than like 10 items that I want to make. So, and it's already almost 8 o'clock. So let's get this going. Good morning and happy market day. The car is currently packed. It is about 7 o'clock in the morning. We are basically right on time, because we could start unloading at 7, but I never, unless like I need all the time, I don't really go for like right when, because there will probably be a line to get in for people who need the 2.5 hours to set up. I need maybe 90 minutes. So, and I could do it in an hour. So my goal is to be there for 7:30. So we'll have a cool 2 hours to unload, move the car, and then set up. So I think we're on track for that. We're gonna go to Dunkin' like we normally do. I have to grab a water bottle also, because I didn't feel like lugging my Stanley to this with all the other stuff, and so, and that's fine. And so we're gonna do that. I am a little stuffy this morning. I'm hoping it's just allergies and it will clear up. But all right, let's see. So like I was saying yesterday, originally I did have a really high goal for this market. It is a little rainy this morning. Right now it's just like sprinkling, but there is rain in like every hour predicted, at least like 30%, I think was the last time I looked. So there's a chance of rain the whole day, which is just so fun. So I do think it's going to affect attendance. I mean, how could it not? And so I will say, if, well, the booth fee is $100, my goal for today is $400. So we'll see. We'll see where we fall. We'll see if we're anywhere close. Regardless, I did really like this market last year, providing it still run similarly. I'm not going to let the weather affect whether or not I do it next year, because this event is also like super close to my house. So, and usually it has a really, really good turnout, and they can't control the weather. So, yeah. All right. So this is me before the market. I decided to do my hair up because I'm not dumb. It's supposed to be rainy, and it's going to probably be muggy and humid. My hair is only going to expand, so we're just putting it up from the start. I have a sweatshirt. I have a huge bag of yarn, and I also brought an umbrella this time. So we'll see. We're going to hope and put out good vibes for a good day. Let's go. This is me after the market. We'll go through the whole breakdown and everything, but right now I'm going to order food, semi-organize what I brought in. I'm not gonna lie, most of the stuff's gonna stay in my car overnight, and then I'll unload it tomorrow morning. But we did it, and I'm in a sweatshirt because it was very windy, but I don't look like a drowned rat, which is great because it actually didn't rain that much. So, but we'll go into all of that. But this is me. Just wanted to do a check-in. What a fun day. Did you notice that I didn't take an end of the day clip? Because I did. The last clip I took was at 1:30 and the show ended at 4. So just nailing it all around. But I guess I did remember to do the before the market and after the market shot. So that's a win. But yes, so overall, if you could tell from my booth at 1:30, there was definitely stuff missing, which is great because that means things were selling. But let's not jump too far ahead. Let's back that up a little bit. So the morning of, as you saw when I was in the car, not raining, which was great. When I got there, it was very clear, just because I had last year to compare to, that people were not going to show up to this market, like vendors, not shoppers, but it was not as busy at the unload as I expected. And I got there probably around 7:20, I would say. So I pulled up, I unloaded all my things. I did before I moved my car, just because the drop-off area wasn't too busy. I did really quickly set up my tent because I wanted to put everything under it because it looked like it could rain. And just because I knew it was going to be a whole thing to move the car across the street, come back, and do all of that, I just wanted to make sure all my stuff was protected. So I quickly, or I say quickly because I attempted to put up my tent. When I tell you, I am generally alone for these events, so putting up my tent is not usually an issue. And I had specifically gotten a tent, like a newer one last year, that I can do by myself without an issue. I was apparently extremely nervous for this market. There's a couple of instances that happened during this day that very much my anxiety was showing, because I went to do the normal setup. I pulled out of the bag, I did the 4 sides, whatever. I went to go put one side partially up like I do so that I can get under it to pop up the middle. If you've never experienced a pop-up tent, this might all sound foreign, but there's a middle piece that you pop up. It's a whole thing, and then I usually put up the rest of my sides. And the whole thing usually takes me less than 5 minutes. I've really gotten this down. And when I tell you, I did the one side, I climb under because I don't want to make it too tall so that I can actually hook the middle together. I'm pushing up the middle and it is refusing to go. And I'm like, this is not good. Like, I need the middle to pop, or else like the rest of the tent doesn't really work. And I'm like, okay. So I'm in this tent, like underneath this tent, knowing I have to move my car, knowing that I still have a very long day in front of me. It's like 7:30 at this point. And my tent is just not having it. And I'm trying to ward off a panic attack, like truly. And I like took a breath and said, you know what? We're going to close this and we're going to just try again. Because it was truly like a moment, like it was like a make or break moment 10 minutes into this process. And I was like, that is way too early for there to be a make or break moment this early in. So I closed it. I then reopened it, and lo and behold, did this, I swear to you, the same thing I had just did, but the middle popped, and I was able to set up the rest of it in like under a minute. I pulled everything in, moved my car, so that was great. So then during setup, it did start to rain a little bit, kind of on and off, which was fine. We were all under tents setting up, and we still had a good amount of time. This market didn't start until 10. So yeah, so we were all kind of setting up under our tent. I had seen on Apple Weather that it looked like this was going to kind of move away from us. So I was like, that's great. Even my tent might even dry. That would be fantastic. And so we set up. So that was basically boring. I was set up by 9, and I go to take out my cash box, and I am looking everywhere for the key. And of course my cash box is locked. And I'm literally looking every which way for this key. And I cannot find it. And I'm like in all my bags, I'm in all my boxes, I'm looking around the grass, I'm re-walking to where I unloaded and walking back, like carefully seeing everything. It's not there. I'm like, okay. So my cousin who lives with us was home. So I call her and I'm like, hey, because she had already texted me that she was awake. So I wasn't like waking up a teenager. And I was like, could you do me a favor? Can you look out in the driveway all around, and can you look in the living room, because that's where all my stuff was. I'm looking, it's a little silver key, like, can you see it? So she was like on it. She goes, she gets back to me. She's like, I'm so sorry, it's not here. And I said, that's totally fine. This is on me. No big deal. And so I'm like, okay. I need a plan. All of my cash is in here. And I don't want to just take card, because I know that people bring cash to this market. And so I'm like, okay. So my other cousin was planning on coming by, because she had to go to like a nearby town. So she was going to come by and say hi to me to see if I needed anything. I said to her, hey, is there any way that before you come to me, I can Venmo you like $150, and you can go into the bank and take it out in like these increments, and I'll just work out of an envelope. And she was like, that's fine, but I probably won't be there until like 10:30. And I said, that's okay. I have a little bit of cash on me, which I did, and I'll just make it work like until we can. And so she's like, okay. Meanwhile, I also went to other vendors, because I'm like, this is a cash box from Amazon. So it's possible other vendors also have this cash box. There's nothing special about this cash box. It's like literally, if you look on Amazon cash box, this is the one that pops up. So I'm like, if someone else has this, their key will realistically fit, because it's just a standard thing. I had already YouTubed and Googled how to break into a cash box, like into the model. And so I don't know what kind of search like or watch list I'm on, my FBI agent was watching, they'd be like, oh my God, we should just send her an article, which would have been helpful, but I needed paper clips and I didn't have those. So unfortunately, none of the vendors in the area had the same one, and they all sympathized and they were like, oh my God, you locked your, and I was like, it's fine, everything's going to be fine. Because I just had to keep saying it, because honestly, there was nothing else I could do at that point. I did have a solution. That solution wasn't going to be to me until an hour into the market, but we were going to make it work. And by the grace of the universe, I did something to get the good karma. No one noticed, because my first couple of sales, and we'll go into those, were like for the $5 items, and the girls that bought them had $5 bills, and that was the bill I didn't have a lot of. So that right there supplemented through a lot of change. Someone paid me in singles, so I ended up with like 12 singles at one point, all before 11. So it was very nice that the universe has a way of working it out. So I was very lucky. I was very blessed. I had a plan where I was going to ask for either Venmo or card, or if they could come back, but I really didn't want to have to do that. I never want to inconvenience the customer, especially for a mistake I made. Spoiler, so you don't have to wait till the end of the video. I did end up finding the key. When I opened my trunk, it was right there in the back of my trunk. And I didn't even think about running to my car because it was just far away, and I was like, no, it's fine. It's probably not even there. And literally I opened my trunk and it was right there. So, but it all worked out. Okay, I'll address the elephant in the room. I've changed. Full disclosure, this is now a different day. It's the next day. I ended up finishing the clip and realizing I didn't have the stuff I need to show you next to me. And then I also looked at the time and realized that I had to meet my friend for dinner, like literally then. So we're now after work on day 2 of filming this. So different outfit. I also am really hoping, so I don't have to re-record this, that the noise of the air conditioner and fan that are currently going isn't too loud and I can edit it out. So editing Kayla, here's hoping, because I'm not gonna lie to you, it's like 100 degrees today, and I'm not going to be turning those off. So I'll re-record if I have to. But anywho, we're going to go through numbers. If this is your first video with me, generally what I do is I give the amount of each item that's sold. I don't necessarily remember what sold in what order because I document it all on a spreadsheet, so I just know what we are going to have to update inventory with. So if I look this way, it is because this is where my computer is with my Excel sheet. I will say, before going into this market, I had 120 plushies and then 21 of like the smaller accessories, whether that be hanging flowers, hanging strawberries, scrunchies. Those are what I normally count. Everything else was plushies / keychains. And so we had 120 plushies and 21 accessories for a total inventory of just over $1,600. I do wish I had more. I know in the clips of me before, I was worried about the amount of inventory I had, and it is what it is. I can only make so much. So anyway, the first thing on my list are my mini pops. I currently have none, so I'm going to put a picture somewhere on the screen of them. This is the cable and canvas free YouTube tutorial, and I will link all of these patterns down below, as I often do. These are really honestly bestsellers for me. I brought 16. I think that's a lie. I think I brought 13, and I made 3 while I was there. So I had a total of 16, and I sold out of all of them. The first 3 things that sold that day were these mini pops, and I sell them for $5 each. And like I was saying that I didn't have the key for my cash box, The 3 girls that bought them had $5 each, and so that's honestly what helped bump the amount of change that I needed to have. So thankful to those girls in that purchase. Next were these whale keychains. I sold 10 of them at this market, which is crazy because these have definitely lessened the amount that I've been selling, which is kind of a bummer because I did change them all to keychains because I figured they'd be more functional than just like without as like little buddies. But people did start to buy them this time, which was great. I sell these for $6 each. This is a free all from Jade pattern on Instagram. And you've probably seen this one a lot. Super easy to make. And yeah, I sell these for $6 each because the regular pals I used to sell for $5, and then I added the dollar because of the keychain. Then I sold very early on. Then I sold very early into this market my strawberry cow. I'm going to show you a blueberry cow because I currently haven't made another strawberry cow yet, but it's this pattern. I'll link it down below. It's from Etsy, and it's one of those like variety packs that has I think like 12 different fruits at least of the different cows you can make. I make mine baby safe because I do embroider the eyes. These are kind of a pain to make, but people do really like them. I wanted to make more than one because this was a strawberry festival. I wanted a few strawberry themed items because I know they do well at these festivals, and I was only really able to make one, but it sold, and that was for $40. And then I don't have pictures of the next one because I sold out of them. I sold all 3 of the baby Yodas or baby aliens, as you want to call them. I'll put a picture here. And I sell those for $15 each. And this is a pattern that I found on YouTube from Crochet with Bay. Again, I'll link it all below. Fairly straightforward pattern. It's, I believe, all in one piece, except you have to sew on the ears, if I remember correctly. I do obviously need to make more. I have the list that I need to prep is so long. No spoiler to how this market went, but oh my goodness. And it's just growing every day, I feel. The next thing I don't have any to show because I haven't made any more yet are my tank turtles. I'll put that there. This is an Etsy pattern that I bought. If you've seen my videos before, you've seen that these are bestsellers. I only ended up having 6 for this market. I did not get around to prepping more like I wanted to. So I had 6. I sold all 6. I sell these for $8 each. I also make these baby safe because I embroider all the eyes. The next thing I also don't have to show you because I sold out of them. Really nailing this right now. I'll put another picture here. It is the capybaras. I brought 8 of them to this market and all 8 sold. I sell these for $10 each because there is a little bit of extra work with the color change and all of that. But the and I was worried that the price point was a little high, but they all sold out. This is a free pattern on Instagram by Sweet Beans Crochet, I believe. Again, I'll link everything down below. The next thing I do have to show, it is a pop mushroom. If you've been around for a while, you know these are always a bestseller for me. I brought 8 of these to this market and I sold 6 of them, so almost sold out. This is the cable and canvas. This is their paid pattern. The mini pops also by them. That one's on YouTube. This one I did pay for. I think it's the Sammy Spore, I believe is what it's called. But cable and canvas has a lot of really great patterns. If you've seen any other video, I will tell you that I usually have a mini one with me, like in the checkout area, to show that it is a quiet fidget. I also, at this market, had these close enough that I could really easily just grab them and also show it with the big ones too if people had questions. So I recommend this pattern a lot. The next thing was a sea turtle, and I sell them for $20. This is another all from Jade pattern. This one I did pay for on Etsy. It is her Tiana the turtle, I believe. And I do like this pattern. I don't make nearly as many sea turtles as I need to because I know sea turtles are popular. But I brought 3. I did only sell 1, but I'm not surprised because the other ones I had were kind of weirder colors. I was surprised this guy didn't sell, but that's okay. I will gladly bring him to another market. But yes, so I have to also, I think, repin his head. He's gotten a little floppy in transit. And one of those for $20. The next thing I don't have physically with me because I only was able to make 2 of them, and they were the hanging strawberries. I do have the hanging flowers, spoiler, because these are also something that sold at this market. And I used the similar vibe, except I found a free like strawberry pattern on YouTube that I will link down below because, spoiler, I also sold them as like keychains, like little strawberries, and it did pretty well. But this hanging flower is from a blog that I'll link below too. But basically, I just did the 2 things, and instead of doing the extra, I just put a hanging strawberry here and a hanging strawberry here. So I manipulated the pattern a little bit because I like this pattern. It's fairly straightforward. So I sold 2 hanging strawberries for $15 each, and then while we're here, I sold 1 hanging flower also for $15 each. Then up next are the bees. I sold 6 of them. I did not put down whether or not it was rainbow or not. That's fun. I started with 8 bees, so I came home with 2. I probably, if I was betting, I don't remember from the footage, so I might be a liar. I assume it was half and half, like I had half yellow, like the regular bees, and half rainbow. My guess is I probably came home with something like that too, like 1 of each. But anyway, I sell these for $12 each. Bees still do pretty well for me. Even in the not warmer months, I'm always surprised that bees still sell because I know they've been popular for like a lot of years for crocheters to make. I really like making them. They're easy. And I have the pattern memorized, so it's a little bit more mindless, which is nice. But this is a Crochet by Jenna pattern. It is on her YouTube. I actually don't know if she has a written version of this pattern, but I know for certain it's on her YouTube. This is one of the first patterns that I ever did with plushies, and I still use it to markets these days. If I do a rainbow one, and I'm sorry because you've probably heard this before if you've watched other of my videos, I use the same exact pattern. I just do the math of how I want to break up the colors. So, and they do pretty well. So $12 each, and I sold 6 of them. Next, I sold 3 crayons, which is crazy. I've said this before, I really like making these crayons. It is a pattern from Knot Monster on Etsy. It's part of a back to school bundle. I've made the crayons, I've made the markers, I've made the pencils, but I consistently have the crayons at markets, and I try to do like a full rainbow spread of them. That's generally like my prepping rule for the crayons, and sometimes they sell really well. Like this market were 3 out of the 7 that I brought sold. Other times 1 or none will sell. One market, I think I sold like 4 or 5 of them. It was crazy. But they always will bring people into the booth. I purposely put them kind of up near me, like where I stand, so you kind of have to go into the tent to see them, because I usually will get comments on them because it is a unique plushie that you don't always see. I also will usually market these at people like as they're really good like reading buddies. I use the example a lot that my sister is a 5th grade teacher. It's true, and I did make her a full set for her 30th birthday. And so she has hers in the classroom, and her 5th graders will get to pick one and like read with it during their reading time, and they all really like that. So yeah, definitely will use that when I am trying to sell these. But I sell these for $20 each. Next, I had a Winnie the Pooh and I sold it, so I've since made another one. That has been something I have prepped. I make my Winnie the Pooh's baby safe, so I embroider the eyes, which make their eyes look a little bit creepy, but It's fine. I also had a piglet. That piglet didn't sell. I sell these for $20 each. And this is a free Instagram pattern. That also comes with an Eeyore modification too, which I do need to get on making more because so many people ask me about Eeyore, and I'm not gonna lie, it's just a little annoying to like color match for Eeyore for yarn, and that's honestly the only reason why I haven't done it. So I will do that. Then, as you saw in the clips from the before, I had 6 axolotls and all of them sold. Because axolotls for me tend to always sell, especially at busier markets. So this is a Crochet by Jenna pattern. I got it on her Etsy, and it's a super easy make, just like how her bee is. This is all one piece as well. Oh, the bee you have to sew the wings, but this actually is, this you have to surface crochet on the gill, but you also don't have to do that if you don't want to. I generally do just to continue the accent color, and I just feel like it looks a little bit more finished. But I sell these for $12 each, and I had 6 and they all went. Next I sold 3 birds. I had 5 birds with me and I sold 3 of them. This is an Annie Caraway art pattern that I bought on Etsy. If you've seen my videos before, you will have seen these birds before. They're super easy, all in like one piece, minus like the little embroidery for the beak. And I honestly cannot recommend this pattern enough. The pattern itself comes with like 20 modifications for different birds. Like just in prepping, I've made, this is the same pattern that this seagull is as to this little flamingo. I have others in my other bag, but like they're so cute and they're so easy to kind of make. I sell these for $15 each, and I usually sell at least 1 bird at every show. Then I sold 2 pickles. So pickles haven't been doing as well for me lately, which is kind of a bummer. I have started making them angry, and those tend to do better. This just happens to be a happy one. This is a free Instagram pattern by Vanilla Greeny, and it's super, super simple to whip up. So I do have to make more because I am running low, but I did sell 2 of these. I do sell these for $12, and they do sell. I am considering dropping down the price just slightly to $10, just because also I'm getting faster at making these, and I'm curious if they'll do a little bit better at the $10 price point, but who knows. Next I sold 5 Octo keychains. So similarly to the whale keychains, I had put all of these on keychains and they hadn't been doing as well. But this market they were definitely looked at more. And I sell these also for $6, just like the whale. And this pattern is from a free YouTube tutorial, I believe by False Bubbles. And that I do, and in that tutorial it does have little like antenna, and I just don't do the antenna, I just leave it like this. But they're super easy to make, and yeah, that's 5 of them. I then sold 1 loaf cat, and if you saw in the things from, or in the clips from the Friday night, you will know that I only had 4 cats going into this market, and that stayed true. I did try to make another one while I was there, and I was not successful in finishing it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it came home with it on the hook, because I had to keep switching to making the mini pops because I was running out of those. So I then had to finish the cat when I got home. I've made more cats since, don't you worry. But this is an Annie Caraway art pattern similar to the bird pattern. This is the one that went like super viral. I still really love this pattern. I got it on her Etsy, and I sell my loaf cats for $20 each. I then sold 2 chicken nuggets. So I've also started to change up the faces on the chicken nuggets as well, and not just make them happy, but make them angry, or I do like a straight line so that they're like indifferent. And People always comment on the pickles and the chicken nuggets. They think they are really cute, and I agree. I also think they're really cute. They're just not always the things that get bought, but they do draw interest, so I will continue making them because they're also fairly easy makes. And I sold 2 of them at this market. I also sell these for $12 each. Both the pickles and the chicken nuggets I do market as emotional support foods, or like emotional support pickles, emotional support chicken nuggets. I just have that on a sign. I don't necessarily do like a tag with it, but it seems to work. The last thing is, like I said, with the hanging strawberries, I did make strawberry keychains. I will put a picture here. I made 3 and sold out of all 3. I did charge $6 each for them because that is just my normal keychain price. I probably could have charged a little more because they did take a little bit more time than the like whale or the octo, even though it looked smaller. It's because I used acrylic yarn. So it came out a little bit smaller. But I could have easily made like 10 more of those and probably sold out of all of them because they went so quick. So I definitely want to make more for my next market because even though it's not a strawberry festival next, I do think that strawberries still sell really well in the summer and they're cute. So I might also consider making some out of the like chenille type yarn, but we'll see. I'll play around with it. But yes, so that is all of the items. So throughout the day of 10 to 4, I had 71 transactions. I sold 86 items. So if we remember, I came with 120 and I sold 86 of them. And that was for a grand total of $875. Now, like I said, the booth fee was $100, so really that's like $775, but I'm pretty happy with that. Even that alone is like over $100 per hour because it was a 7-hour market, so I cannot complain. If you've seen other of my videos before, you know I tend to not go into like materials and taxes and all of that kind of stuff to take off. I just kind of subtract the booth fee and then rock and roll from there, because the other stuff's kind of boring. But but I am very, very happy with how well I did, even despite the weather and some of the morning like chaos. So for kind of like ending thoughts, I was really impressed at the amount of traffic that still came through despite the weather. It rained during that setup time, and then it was overcast like the whole day, and it like sprinkled on and off, but like truly like in the word like sprinkled. Like it really wasn't that bad on and off all day, and so that was great. And it was windy, but not so windy that I was constantly picking up my plushies. A couple of them did fall, but again, I had that outdoor rug, which was a huge win. I was very afraid of people tripping on it, and I had kind of positioned it in such a way under my other tables that it stayed down like really well, and no one seemed to have an issue. Because trust me, if there had been an issue, I would have pulled that thing so quick, because I do not want people tripping. But it really worked out well, so I think I will bring it to my next market because I liked the look of it. I think it kind of like completed the vibe. And so, yeah. So I liked having that. What surprised me about this market was how many people canceled. There were supposed to be, I think they said like over 40 vendors, and I want to say at least 10 of them pulled out because of the potential weather. And especially like if you are selling this season, like this particular season has been extremely rainy. So it's kind of crazy. The weather predictions for this weekend were all over the place. So we really had no idea like how much it was or if it was going to rain. And there have been other weekends like this market season where like you knew it was going to like torrential downpour, so then like maybe think about canceling. But like this was so up in the air, and it's such a well-known festival in the town. I was pretty confident that people would still come, and I was right. Like the traffic remained extremely constant to getting like borderline busy like the whole day. And last year there were more people, but that doesn't mean there were no people this year. Like there were still a lot of people. So that was great. The coordinator and her daughter kept coming around to check to make sure if we needed anything, if we needed a bathroom break, a food break. I was really lucky because my cousin was able to come by, not just to give me the money for my cash box, but then she came by a little bit later and she was able to like relieve me for a couple minutes so I could run to the bathroom and then get like a hot dog or whatever. So I was very grateful to her for that, but I also would have trusted these coordinators to also watch my stuff. It's a little bit easier to just like give it to someone who has already been standing at your booth before, so that's just why I opted to wait, but I trusted them fully. So then breakdown was just the reverse of setup. The only issue was, so setup, because you had literally like 3 hours, about like 2.5 to set up, because they opened it at 7 and then they wanted you to be set up by 9:30 if possible. And so because there was that big range of time, there was definitely like a lot of different ideas of when to come to set up. They also have some like business vendors at this festival. So a lot of times with business vendors, they don't come until literally like 15 minutes before you're supposed to be set up, because they're literally just setting up like a tent and a table and like maybe like a wheel to like spin or something like that. So it's not like an in-depth setup like pulling out a bunch of inventory is. So because of that, it really staggered when people were arriving. So the space where our cars were, it was easy to just kind of then bring your stuff over, like I said, set up, and then move your car. For breakdown, unfortunately, everyone was like kind of breaking down quickly because it's a long day. That's completely understandable. But there were more people ready to get their car at the same time than there were at drop-off, if that makes sense. So the spots for like where people were definitely less. So I was taking my time kind of breaking down, but I also didn't want to get home. So I like wasn't like lollygagging like as much as I probably could have. And I thought I was like in like a good pocket of time. And by the time I went and got my car, like 7 other people had too. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. I literally ended up having to like go around again so then I parked kind of far away from where my spot was. And I was like, all right. And I brought over, what did I bring over? Oh, that was when I opened my trunk and found my key. And then I like started by bringing over like my tent and the tables, because I had everything broken down like in a little like cluster. And the other issue is they didn't have like people to help like bring stuff to your car, which is fine. It's not expected. But it was one of those things where you're like, okay, I'm going to be the one lugging all this stuff. All right, that's fine. And a lot of my stuff's kind of awkward. So where it's not a lot of stuff, it is stuff that takes like many trips because I can only carry like so much of something at once. So I like brought over my tent and like my shelf, and then I put that in, and then I went over to get my tables. I brought over those, and then like a spot a little closer opened up. So I shut my trunk and I moved up to there, and then like I got like a crate or something, and then like and then like another spot opened up, so then I went there, and then that was a good spot. So then like I was like running back and forth because I wanted someone else to be able to get this spot too. So it was a lot. I think the cop that was in charge of directing the traffic was laughing at me because I think he was watching my whole journey of breakdown, but it worked. Another fun story is that the person next to me, she had just started this past year vending at like markets, and it was because her daughter had gotten married and had asked her mom to make these like flowers out of shells that they had found in Cape Cod and like on the beaches of Cape Cod. And she had done like these beautiful like arrangements for her, and everyone like commented and wanted to buy them like at the wedding. And she was like, oh, like people like this, like I could like actually like possibly sell these. And they are gorgeous, and she does some like in frames and stuff. And because like my family, like we go to the Cape often, and so like, and we always have, it's like been like a family place forever. So my cousin who was there, she like went over and was talking to her about it and had bought flowers and stuff, and they were so pretty. But she was nervous because she was like, this was an expensive like booth fee, because also like when you're starting out, like you don't know if $100 is going to be worth it. You don't know. Like I still don't know if $100 is going to be worth it. I have a slightly better idea now because I'm going into like year 3 of markets, which is crazy to say. But yeah, I completely understand her trepidation. But I was like, no, like I did this one last year, and the people are really nice and they're willing to buy. Like they like come like with a shopper's mentality, not like just here for the strawberries. And so she's like, okay, well that's good. So we were packing up at the end, and I had 2 when I arrived. I had 2 full of these. I put my plushies in these bags that I get on Amazon, and I had 2 of them like stuffed like with plushies of inventory, and I left with like half of one filled. That was a little stressful. And she was packing up too, and she was like, oh my goodness, this is going to take me a while to pack up, because she had a lot of inventory and it's all like very delicate. And she goes, but this is the best that I've ever done. And so I told her about the other market that I do in this town, and I said I do just as well, if not better, at that one. And I gave her all that information. She's like, thank you, because she traveled like a half an hour to get there, so she was also worried about like the travel, like was that going to be worth it too, which I completely understand. And so she was like, oh my gosh, I'll look into it, like thank you so much. And I was like, absolutely, like your stuff is beautiful. So I do hope she's there, because I would like to buy something. I just didn't get to go over there during the day. But we love nice neighbors. We love nice vendor neighbors. And we love when everyone succeeds. That's what markets should be about. I think that's it. I didn't actually say while I was going through the numbers, but some bestsellers were consistent, as they usually are. My axolotls, those sold out. The capybaras are a new bestseller, but those sold out. I brought 8 of them, and they all went. Mini pops are always my bestseller, like across the board, because I usually have the most of those anyway, and they do sell out for me. But honestly, a lot sold out for me, or sold really well at this market. I could not complain. I can't find a place to complain. I'm just so grateful for everyone who ever wants to buy any of my things, so this is no exception. But with that, I think we're going to end this very long video that is going to be a pain to edit, but I'm going to do it. And I will say, thank you so much for watching, especially if you got this far. I appreciate each and every one of you who takes the time to watch my videos. If you liked this video or want to see other videos like it, definitely consider hitting that like and subscribe button down below. I tend to do market recaps like this, market prep vlogs, sometimes challenge vlogs, who knows. I'm trying to get more consistent with a schedule. I do have to film my goals catch-up video like 6 months in. Now we're technically 7 months because it's the beginning of July of where we were back in January, and one of those goals included putting out 2 YouTube videos a month, and so I think I'm hitting that close. Obviously in that video I will have actually looked to see, but I'm trying to get better. But definitely consider liking and subscribing to see more. I do have a market at the end of this month. I'm hoping to make a video of prepping before that, before the market recap. Fingers crossed. If anything that you saw in today's video you thought was so cute and you might need it yourself, I might sell it on my website, which is www.icouldamakethatbutt.com. It's where I sell some of my crocheted plushies up there. So definitely you can check that out. It will be also linked in the description down below, along with all the patterns that you saw today. And if you want to see more behind the scenes type content, as always, I'm trying to get better with social media. I have a TikTok and an Instagram. Both are at ICouldMakeThatButt on both platforms, so you can follow me there. And with that, I do believe that is everything. If you have any questions about anything in this video, feel free to comment them down below. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!